many years of immersion in focusing practice and experience and teaching focusing and studying focusing and studying the philosophy and theory all together has really brought a major shift in my experience of being a therapist. And thinking about this, what I would say today, I thought in my family, as the first child, I was a listener. Pretty much a professional listener. I learned that this solved a lot of problems, to be a professional listener. And then I became a very professional listener by becoming a therapist. And then I somehow was still trapped in that legacy, and there was not a feeling of being free as a person. Then I became more immersed in studying psychoanalysis and the interpersonal dimensions and the interactive dimensions. But the particular involvement that I found myself in, I guess existential psychoanalysis, was with someone poetic, responsive, wonderful. However, it veered to the opposite extreme of too penetrating, at times pathologizing and interaction. So I love the liveliness of interaction, more interacting, but it wasn't right either. It was kind of an opposite. Focusing oriented therapy has given me a way to be a living, breathing person as I'm listening, and a way to be actively responsive in all different ways, of course, different moments, different clients. Whether I'm being silent or actively speaking, to feel I'm a person there with another person. And now to think we are one interaction is even better. We are living in interaction. So I wanted to speak to one of the things, I don't know, it's in this transcript, I think it was probably in the video too, where he said, the interaction is so much more than the two individual participants' perceptions of it. And this is an important philosophical point. He has a philosophy paper called The Primacy of the Body, Not the Primacy of Perception, which is an answer to Merleau-Ponty's The Primacy of Perception, which is beautiful. However, Jean carries philosophy forward by speaking about the knowing that we have that's beyond what we know through hearing and seeing and smelling and tasting, the five senses. We know in a bodily way, in a whole bodily way. And he coined the phrase the plant body, which I haven't heard any other philosopher use. We can all think of having animal bodies. We're humans, we have all the richness of animal bodies. We also have plant bodies. Plants live and know how to use sunlight and water without having eyes and ears, without having perceptions, what he calls the 5 peepholes of perception. They're not gathering information in through perception. They know with their whole bodies how to use sunlight and water. So this is one example of a way in which Jean's philosophy has nurtured me in a very deep, conceptual way in the intimacy of interaction in a therapy session. I really have come to trust so deeply in this knowing beyond what I can think, and trusting the sensing, that was so beautifully expressed in these case examples, the capacity to sense in this deep way. And in one moment there in the DVD, when Jean was talking about even when he's doing focusing alone, what gets him out of a self-deprecatory attitude is pausing and waiting for something fresh to come. And learning, practicing that slowing down, that pausing, waiting for something fresh to come. It's just so beautiful, it's so relaxing to trust that deeply. And then this pausing gets built into therapy, the pausing for what's not yet known. And I have a client now who always inquires into, well, what are you thinking about what I just said? What do you feel about what I just said? Do you have anything like that going on with you? Have you ever had that? So I've had years of preparation now to be able, years of building up to this kind of person who wants this intense back and forth in the moment. And I can say, well, something just came. This is what came as I listened to you. And just see if this resonates. That's a question I can ask. I'll say it, but I would like you to just see if it's useful to you or if it resonates. And she'll say, yes, oh God, what a relief. Or, well, let me see, there's a pausing, that way in which any phenomenon opens out into what he calls the implicit intricacy, because we need complex terms to make people ask, what is that? I also like this word knack. Being immersed in focusing experience, one develops the knack of letting things come by surprise freshly, sometimes saying them out loud, sometimes saying better not, but trusting that something is being evoked, perhaps, that's useful to the other person. And this is, for me, being a person without self-disclosure. It's not about self-disclosure. It's about being a person. I can be, I'm a person with a person instead of a listening pattern. Okay, that's it. One more minute? Let me just see in my little crib sheet if there's any, oh yes. This idea that life carries forward, and when there's something stuck, there's still simultaneously a wanting to carry forward. There's an implying, a wanting, but the right next step just hasn't occurred or come or arisen or formed. This really is, for me as a therapist, a carrying forward beyond all the categories, diagnostic categories, although ways of thinking about things can be useful. All the various conflicting ways of thinking about things are very enlivening. But over time, that deepening trust that there is a wanting to carry forward. Yeah. Life, it's a different view, it's a special view of life that I have come to adopt. As I adopt that point of view about the universe, about life, something in me relaxes. And I'll just say that, okay, that's it. All right, one last thing. And I want to say that all the little, because of this DVD and the talk, I was carried forward. I was aware that all my interactions with each one of you in micro moments today, saying hello in various ways to people, and our interactions carried me forward into feeling a little more relaxed and definitely more connected. And it's so good. Thank you for carrying me forward.